the morning in the sun, we get the rest by the lane. Go and pick up and we get the shit. But the money for the district gonna make it a fine. Even though we need the money to the board tonight. Leave a kiss to the tickets at the place when I'm gone. Tell me all the places I go to heaven some song. I see some more taking over the place. Oh, you coming through.
Wow. Everyone's telling me right now Tom Lee is saying that Bitcoin's going to have a monster move in the next 3 months. Well, last week, the Alpha team bought IBIT calls thinking that we were going to get 135, 140. And it was a great entry last week. And I think earlier this week at the 630 Club, we said you could buy dips. And we've had an unbelievable week there. I also agree, but I'm not going to put any outlandish things. But anyway, my name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. I'm a founder of T3 Live. I'm also the founder of Red Dog Mindset. I try and connect all the dots. You have game time, which is 9:30. Then you have the X's and O's, which is like, the morning call I do with the Alpha team. Then you have the 630 Club, which is a little bit of a preview. And then you have the 2520, where we're working out, we're getting our mind right, going over what's happening around the world, thinking about the keys to the day also. Lots of different ways to prime for the day so you can execute with confidence. I hope everyone's feeling well. Hope everyone had a great holiday if you fast. And I hope everyone had a great third quarter, because so far this week has been tremendous. It's been awesome. I came in on Wednesday and everyone's like, Red Dog, what's going on with the government shutdown? Everyone on TV says the world's going to end. I'm like, well, we're down 30 handles. If we don't break the 8th day, the world's not going to end. And literally on Wednesday, you look right here, we didn't even test 661.60. And I think I was here and I did put that, into the world out there. And P.S., not only did it hold above 661, it took out 667 and closed really well. And then yesterday, we were up 20 handles, right? We were up 20 handles. It's a big range. I'm like, guys, you could add to your hedges, trim into some strength, and play the range. And literally, we're up 20 handles. The SPYs are up $2, wound up going down $1, held exactly where it had to at 667-ish, came off the lows, and now we're up small. Great trading market. If you look here on the Alpha team, everyone's like, wow, Red Dog, you have all these positions. You're being irresponsible. What's the matter with you? P.S. We've been in a portfolio approach for multiple months, massaging positions. It's been very specific. We've had some really good setups. We've had some great cash flow trades. We've had some great swing trades, great day trades. You name it, it's been there. If you remember earlier this week, I feel like I was pulling teeth, for the A setups. I'm like, guys, NVIDIA, if NVIDIA trades through 184.50, we're going to see 190 like that. I bought 3 different sets of options. I was buying the stock, Alpha team, power plays, and PS. Look at what NVIDIA did. This is the best stock in the world, and it gave you a setup and it gave you follow through. Like, right here, I know there was news out, the market wasn't ready. We held higher. This big channel, boom. This money trade alone could have made your week, and it was awesome. And then it hit 190, 105. I am a lot lighter because it needs some time. Now, there's setups when there's time, and then there's times to let it go. Like everyone's like, Red Dog, you played AMD. You hate AMD. I'm like, yeah, AMD is a tricky stock, but guess what? It's a perfect setup. And it was a perfect setup. Just got above the moving averages, was ready to go. You had semis getting stronger. So what do? We bought the 165 calls on Wednesday and the stock, and then it was up 5 yesterday. And even though it was a holiday, oh, by the way, this is a great song. Listen to this a second. Listen.
One personal little vexation and pride self. This is something where no man can stop, because all nation are going to gather and all nation are going to say yes. Right.
Anyway, it's slow playing. But P.S. Again, some stocks that go on the do not touch list are only there because it's rebuilding. Then you better go back to it when it's time. And AMD was good. And now I'm smaller. There's a time to be bigger. Use a tier system. Time to be smaller. And if you guys remember, last week in the 630 Club, I told you I was accumulating QS, in here. And this looks like, paused at 15. It's going to go higher. So QS was a great accumulator. I told you I was accumulating UMAC calls into this area. Great trade. NBS was absolutely in fuego. Unfortunately, I'm not in it right now. I tried to be a little bit too conservative. But look, like this is a new piece of business. Like this is the reason why traders love their job, because when you find a name that is a special name, that the fundamentals and the technicals line up, and trades with momentum rules, you can make a living. You could change your life. Like look at this cup. Look at this saucer cup and handle pattern. Like this is a stereotypic, like by the book. You could go into, hey, Google, give me a cup and handle pattern. And then you had a gap up that held in 126 like that. Everyone should have made a fortune. I made good money here. Didn't change my life, but it was just a new name on the go-to list with like an IREN, a new name on the go-to list. That, look at this, above the 8-day moving averages. When things are above the 8 and 21 day, you're buying it, you're massaging it, you're going with it. Anyway, I also, for fun, I told you guys I've been buying Wolf, not even for fun, for money, and I've been just buying a dip and it's been working higher. I do think Wolf is going to go to $14 to $16. You could stay with that. I really think one of the better calls was really last week. Last week, I said to you guys, I'm like, I am buying the IBIT, buying it in here for a start. So this way you could buy the weakness in September, get ahead of it for an October, November, because come Thanksgiving, usually there's crazy momentum in crypto. Usually the Uber driver, your mother-in-law, everyone's like, oh, I got to buy Bitcoin. How do I buy Bitcoin? Meanwhile, we're selling. Remember last year's turkey trot? I did the turkey trot. It was fun. And then the 100K march. So anyway, we started early and then, gapped up. And that's when I started buying the actual ETF, and look at this move. I would think a little sideways action, and then it takes out this 70 and goes. I have some SBET options on that, I was buying for $1.10. We're selling some at $1.60 yesterday, some BMNR calls, and Ethereum also. So there's a lot going on out there. There's a lot of people that are, this isn't going to end well. I get it, but that's not a trading plan. Once we finally break the 21-day moving average for more than a day, maybe it's not going to end well. But until then, there's so many sectors. You have the aviation sector has been awesome. Look at this UMAC, like I just said, it's on the move, breaking above this 1543, probably goes back up to this area. I've been buying this ACHR. It's not a barn burner, but you know what? I think this thing's going to work back towards the $11 to $12 range. Bought some RDW, nice wide range bar. Looks like that's going to fill the gap. What else was I buying in the aviation sector? Joby, JOBY. What a trade yesterday. Look at that candle. Took back the moving average. This is so that you have the aviation sector. You have I'm in this BBAI. It looks really good. Looks like it's going to hit this area. I sold some strength, bought some back, used my tier system. USAR was going crazy. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Space Specialist. Good morning, guys. Thoughts on bull? I bought some bull back yesterday. I don't love it. It's just a little small thing. It's not like a focus. Played it to 16, bought a little bit back. It's hasn't been really going so well, to be honest, but it's fine. It's not like an over look at. Someone asked me about what is that? What was that new issue that just came out that looks decent? I have so many names. I don't even, this BLS bullish. It's a Peter Thiel name. Yeah, looks fine. Woke up a little bit yesterday. This is probably a name you could start charting to put on your radar. ONDS has been a great stock for a lot of you guys. There's been a lot of really good stocks out there. Oracle, some of you guys bought, versus Gap. I'm trying to just like not put on too many new swings, but it was a nice little trade here. TM was a nice little trade. Remember Pony, guys? Remember any of you guys? Let's see. Any of you guys, when I said I am buying Pony right here, actually, no, here, adding to it, I had 3 different sets of options, and boom, what a nice move. Pony, I never knew what Pony was. I played the ponies. I like to play the horses every now and then for fun, in Saratoga, but I never played Pony AI. Meanwhile, someone brought it to me, said institutions like it for the next year or two. So I gave them a nice little way to play it. ASTS, one of my bigger winners this week. I think at 6:30 Club, I was showing you this inside flag after this move. Was buying the $52, $53 calls, and holy cow, what a move. We've been in this name all year. All year we've been playing this name. And this is a key lesson on everyone started getting, worn out here. And then boom, that was the money trade, and another one. Now it probably needs to be rebought against 61. Quantum stocks are good. There's a lot of good sectors out there. Even the cannabis sector. MSOS, I'm long MSOS. I'm going to stay with it. I think this time it takes out 6. Last time we had a big move. I showed you the article with, who is it? The the boxer, what the hell, Mike Tyson, have smoking a spliff, and all of a sudden it came in play. Now I think it goes up even higher. I think some psychedelic names like the CYBN, no one really knows it. I've been accumulating it. Some institutions like it. It's not for everyone, but write that name down. It's something. What's it called? RXRX. Looks like it's poking up its head up. So again, there's just a lot going on. With that being said, I hope everyone had a great third quarter. I hope everyone had a great week. If you missed me yesterday, because I didn't post anything in the public Twitter, I did a few things in my subscriber Twitter on public. But moving forward, that could be the way it's going to go come 2026. I do a post and there's 100,000 bots. Like I can't even see people in my unless they're real and they have to be a subscriber. So anyway, I posted this before. Some people like this video. So everyone's like, what's this Red Dog mindset? Well, Red Dog mindset is it's win the morning, win the day. I'm in a sauna. The 6:30 club that you guys have been doing for free is going to be there. Everything's going to be at some point behind the paywall. But wait, where is this? Look, so this was a good video that why do you just put yourself in a position to feel good in the morning? Because it's a way to do something besides trading. You create some hard circumstances for yourself, you get your mind right, and then if you feel like you could execute with confidence on anything. So if I were you guys, do some kind of morning routine that gets your mind right so you can execute on the X's and O's. The sauna in the ice barrel, the workout in the morning is fantastic. But anyway, at this point, I hope everyone again is feeling well. Let's go back to TrendSpider, which is what I use. The Qs also, if you remember on Wednesday, I'm like, hey guys, the government shutdown might mean something or not. Do we hold 596? And look at that. Qs held 596 and then hit 607, just like that. So the less you focus or over focus on the TV set and focus on the bears and focus on the charts and your process and your system and gain confidence and use a day count rule in your execution, the bottom line is, you'll make much more money by trusting your process, trusting yourself, and working on your routine. If you want changes, you better make some changes. This was a key day. When was the key day? The key day was Wednesday. They shut the government down. We were down 30 handles and everything was buyable. Now we're continuing to manage the process with lots of different sectors, and hopefully, you're making money, because there's like 3 times a year when you get this like really good sequence in the market where you could really put it on, make a lot of money, and then you have to pull it back and just, lower your expectations and you have to make sure you like your routine and process, because it's not as fun. But this has been a great time period. We'll see how long it goes. And I wish you guys the best. Have a great weekend. Make sure to get outside, feed the brain, look at things you did well, work on things you didn't, and make progress, not perfection. Perfection is not in trading. You can't be perfect in trading. But if you make progress, you can make money. You could stack days, you could stack weeks, you could stack quarters, and making a living. I've been doing this 30 years and I've seen traders come and go. The only way you stay is with your mind right. And if you have the preparation and then trust your process, and also community is key. If you don't have a community, you think like you're trading alone, just, there's a lot of good communities out there for you to build some confidence and share ideas with. And the Alpha team has been awesome. So this is the Alpha team right here. If a lot of you guys went to the open house and, wound up becoming members of the Alpha team. Let's see if they hear let's see this. I can type right in there and say, hey, hello, anyone having a good week? Let's see if anyone's having a good week. I think some people are having a good week. Everyone's UMAC came out with news. Plug, Left 4 Dead is on the move. ONDS. So these are right now. There's 291 probably professional traders that are on the Alpha team that trade for a living. Managing their positions. And these are all my positions. You get to see what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Oh, lastly, I'll leave you with I like Serve Golden Sunlight. I just work hard. Quantum's been great. USAR's moving. Rivian and Tesla. Yeah, so you got to move on. So basically, let me leave you with this. So Tesla yesterday opened up. I always post my sell rules. And I've been in Tesla lots of different sets of options and stock and calls from 355. And then what did it do? Yesterday it was up 12. I was sitting here at my desk. I'm like, guys, use your tier system, trade some, sell some, and then use your sell rules based if they sell the news. So what happened? You sell some strength. That's sell rule number one. Doesn't hold a prior high. Adjust. That means there's no momentum there, which it broke. And then it went red. And now this is a pretty damn big, ugly red candle where the complexion has changed. Today, tomorrow is going to be really important. Does Tesla open up 6 today and then go red? And then really we'll tell you, hey, it needs time. Well, right now it's up 6. Or does it open up 6 and people try and sell the strength because of the weakness from yesterday? Does it catch them and do we go up 12? So Tesla needs to rebuild. It's a different trade now. This is a pretty nasty red candle. So bottom line is, can it take out 451? Or is it going to open up 6, go red, break 435, and then lose the 8-day, which has been a great vehicle to buy during this momentum sequence? So at this point, Tesla, which has been an A trade, it's like a B minus trade, and you have to wait and watch. Things change, okay? Where Amazon's been horrendous, and it feels like it's changing just a little bit. What do I mean? Well, look at Amazon here. It's got this little lower, area. I bought some versus 216. Let's see, can it get above 222.81 and see 225? Goldman Sachs upgraded today. Does it finally stick? So, you have to work like different sequences in your head, so this way you can execute when market's moving. Bottom line is, every few weeks there's been a different flavor, a different sector, things to do. And, you got to be on your game to follow the money and keep going because there's a lot of great action out there. And anyway, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you do enjoy the 630 Club, if you've been making money with me for free since 2020, but you're not a member of the Alpha team or some of those because it's very expensive, at least subscribe above to Red Dog Mindset because going forward, I would think my public Twitter is going to turn into that. So this way I can have a real public Twitter with real people, not robots, where I could answer, I could see your questions and, have that moving forward. So if you find value in some of the mindset, the 630 Club, you want to work out in the morning, you want to do some things to get yourself better, well, subscribe above and get grandfathered in because come next year, it's either going to be a lot more expensive or you just might not see me. Anyway, good luck today. I'll be in and out and I'll definitely post a few things as I usually do intraday. Later, guys.